Hello everyone, it's Ifoma here. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's episode, we are going to be making this beautiful one shoulder off top. So if this looks like what you are interested in, keep watching. So to begin, these are all the measurements you'll be needing. All right, your shoulder measurement, which is your together shoulder measurement, your bust measurement. All right, so when you're taking your bust measurement, you're going to add from 2 to 4 or 5 inches extra to your round bust measurement because it's going to be free, and then your length. Okay, so this is me trying to fold this fabric. I folded my fabric into 4, okay, because I'm going to cut the front and the back at once. I'm going to cut it at the same time. All right, they are going to be equal, both the neck and everything. All right, to get your fold, you are going to divide your together shoulder by 2. As is the together shoulder I'm working with is 42, I divided into 2, which is going to give me 21, right? And then I'm going to get my fabric fold with 21 inches. Okay, so this is me trying to get my fabric fold with 21 inches. And when I've gotten that, I'm going to mark it with my marking tool. All right, so after that, I'm going to come down 1 inches. With 1 inch, I do this all the time. This is for the shoulder slope. Okay, so after that, the next thing I did was to take the measurement, the length of the top. All right, and the length of the top I'm working with is 20 inches. So I just added a 1.5 inches folding for the hem. Okay, and that is what you see me marking. All right, so the next thing I did was to come over to the sleeve, and this sleeve is totally dependent on what you want. This sleeve is supposed to be a very free sleeve. You can use any inches you want to get your sleeve. Okay, just know it's going to be a very free sleeve. Mine is not that free, so that is why you see me marking these measurements. Okay, and so for the bust, you're going to divide your bust measurement into 4, and like I said before, you're supposed to add some allowance to it because you know it's a very free chop. I added 4 inches allowance to my own, and then I marked my chop plus 1 inch for the sewing allowance. So there's no need for shaping down the down because I'm going to gather it with a rope. And then for the neck, this neck is also dependent on your size and what you want. So I used 8 inches for the wideness of this neck because you know one shoulder is going to be off. So depending on your size, you can use 9, you can use 10, you can use 8, you can use 7. All right, so because I'm on the smaller size, I used 9 inches. Okay, so I connected the shoulder slope to the end of the neck, and then the next thing I did was to take the deepness of the neck. And because this neck is not so deep, I did 1.2. All right, so depending on what you want, you can do 1.5, you can do 1. All right, so after that, the next thing I did was to cut it out. All right, I just so remember that this is the front and the back. And when I was done cutting it, this is what it looks like. Okay, it's the front and the back. I'm done for the cutting part of this video. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to cut the rope. Remember there is rope on the hem of the top. All right, the hem was gathered with your rope. So what I did was to cut out the rope, and then we are done with cutting. Then over to the sewing machine. So the first thing we did on the sewing machine is to turn the neckline with the bias. Okay, you can do whatever works for you, but I use bias to turn the both neck, the front and back neck. So this is me turning the neck with the bias, and when I was done, I turned the other one as well. Alright, when I was done turning the two neck with bias, the next thing I did was to join the two shoulders. Okay, so I joined the two shoulders using 0.5 inch. All right, So after I was done doing that, turning the both shoulders, the next thing I'm going to do is to fold the sleeve. Okay. So when folding the sleeve, make sure you are leaving enough allowance for the tiny elastic to pass. Make sure you're creating enough allowance for the channel of the elastic. Okay. So this is what you see me doing. And after I was done doing that for the both sleeves, the next thing I did was to pass my elastic. Okay, you can do this with your safety pin. You can use whatever works for you to pass the elastic. When you pass the one side, you're going to hold it down with your sewing machine and then you pass the other one as well. Okay, so this is me. I was done passing the thread, and the next thing I'm going to do is to shape the top. This one is a very easy one. This one you can make it in 10 minutes and make it in 7 minutes. You can make it in 15 minutes depending on how fast you are. Okay, so this is me trying to shape this top. I'm going to shape it using the 1 inch allowance we added when we were cutting the top. Okay. So I shaped it down using the 1 inch, and when I got to the down part, to the hem, I came up with 3 inches away from the hem, and that is where I stopped the shaping. All right, that gap I left there is for the rope. All right, we gathered the hem with a rope, so that is the gap you're seeing there. And then the next thing I did was to fold in that gap. All right, so this is me trying to fold that gap. So if you're like me that I don't have a serging machine, a weaving machine, you might want to fold that into two to give it a neat finish. Okay. All right. So this is me folding away that tearing at the end of the shaping side. All right. So I'm just folding it. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side as well. So when I was done doing that, then it's time for the hemming. Okay. So I'm just going to fold down the hem. And while folding the hem, just as we did for the sleeve, you are going to leave enough space for the rope to pass. Okay. You are creating a channel for the rope to pass, and you make sure that you're leaving enough space while folding down your hem. So I'm just going to quickly fold the hem, the both sides, the front and the back. All right. So while we're at it, if you're yet to subscribe, please click the subscribe button, comment. You can drop a comment for me if you're going to try this. You can like this video as well. You can share for someone else to benefit from this video. Thank you. So when we are done with the hem, with folding the hem, the next thing we're going to do is to work on the rope. Okay, you're just going to fold the rope. All right, so I don't know how you want to fold your rope. Just do whatever works for you. Okay, so this is me folding the rope, and when I was done, I'm just going to pass the rope on the channel we created on the hem. Okay, you're just going to pass the rope in the channel. All right, so you can use me. I use nail all the time. Nail works for me better. You can use a safety pin. You can use whatever works for you. Just pass the rope on the hem of the top. So this is just me passing the rope. So I used one. Remember, we cut two rope at the beginning of when we were cutting the top. So I used one rope on the front and one rope at the back. So that's basically it for this top. So when we are done fixing the rope, this is what it looks like. All right, look at it. This is what it looks like. You just draw it and tie it. Just draw it to your measurement and tie it. All right, so this is just it. Remember to like, comment, and to subscribe to the channel. And you can also drop me a comment telling me that, okay, this is what you want me to do a tutorial on next. Okay, so I'll be on the comment section waiting for your comment. That is just it for the top. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.